Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. Hey guys, excited to have everyone join us on another one of these Business of Digital podcast episodes. And we are just going to jump right into it. This is one that a lot of people ask Dave and us this question. Dave. First of all, Dave, how's it going?
Good. Make a squeaky chair.
Hey, I don't have squeaky chair today.
Yeah.
I can't make squeaky chair.
One less thing for me to edit, but also like your sound today is like ridiculously much better than mine and makes me shameful.
I'm actually coming to you guys straight out of a real live podcast studio, if you can believe that. But what we're going to talk about today is what is the best transcription service. And this would be, I guess it's not just for podcasting. It could probably be for other stuff, right, Dave? Or is it?
You can use it really, for anything. Any sort of video or audio file that you need or that you want to put up. Like if you're creating YouTube videos and you want to have closed caption and you want to be able to, we will talk about that to a certain extent as I go through the reviews. But yeah, that's another thing. Anytime you have video or any sort of audio, or if you want to listen to, we're just going to start getting right into it, all of the uses for it. Sales calls, customer service calls.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because I know that obviously the SEOs in us want to use this simply for the content. We can get it put out there, these are audio files, but it does make it good to get this actual text that we're talking about and whatever the topic may be. And so, that is exactly what I want you to jump into, and what are all the uses for it? What is the best transcription services that people can use? I know that we have a document here full of just different ones and pricing, and I'm sure that depending on what we get into for everyone, you're going to have this as a resource available to everyone as well. And so just kick us off, Dave.
Yeah, if there was ever a time where you should actually look at the write-up, this is probably longer than anything I've written in years. Not even including the copy and paste where I actually copied, so you can actually compare yourself the transcriptions from each of the services. So I looked at
this because Dave was crying to me about it all week.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I looked at 11 services.
Wow.
And I only looked at AI services. So that'll be the first caveat, as I will say. I only looked at AI services, and that is because if you look at this document, you will notice that it's organized or sorted by the rating that I gave it, and I actually break down how I came up with that. It's not just some, I think it's the best, so it gets a 9. I tried to be consistent across all 4 of the grading items, but I also then brought in and looked at a couple services that do it with humans. And the one thing that you'll jump out is if you really need 100% accuracy or 99.999%, you go with a human. That said, Matt, don't look and cheat. How much do you think the average price is for a 20-minute, I think it was, audio file transcribed by human?
So a 20-minute file?
Yep.
Maybe $10?
Nope. Double that, at least.
20 to 30. Wow.
Yeah, 20 to 30, depending on which of the 4 services you look at. But then one of the things that'll quickly jump out is each of those services will specifically ask you how many speakers are there. If there's more than 2, it goes up per minute. Is your quality good?
$5.
What's that?
I said, or if we use our kids, we can pay them $5,
Yeah, but you also, how long is the turnaround going to be? How good is the quality?
Everybody, don't do that.
Yeah, so I looked at Casey, and I apologize, Cassie, Hauschlit, Rev, Go Transcript, and GMR transcription services were the 4 that I just kind of found and poked around. And most of these services, including them, were ones that were listed multiple different places for the best service or my favorite service or something like that. And then I just kind of did some additional searching on additional, listing sites and just everything else, trying to figure out which ones worked. I did look at 2 software solutions in Scribe, which has the lowest score possible, just about. I could not get it to work, which is part of the problem. I got it to load, and I can pretty much do the review right now on it. I got it to load, but I had Java issues, and something else was wrong, and it just wouldn't do anything.
So it's definitely how they say you pay what you get what you pay for with that one.
It's $99 one time, I do believe, and if you're going to do a lot of transcriptions, I can see that being a good solution. I couldn't get it to work though.
Interesting.
So, I am on my, trusty old Windows computer. And for some reason I didn't have QuickTime. I reinstalled QuickTime. It still wouldn't work. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't find anything out about it. I couldn't figure it out. So maybe for those that have a Mac, it would work better. But for $99, if you're doing 40 to 50, if you're doing a weekly podcast and over 2 years, it comes out to be $1.
That's a very good deal.
For a 20-minute episode, and that's kind of what I looked at. And there's a 14-day trial, which is what I used. But for $1 to transcribe 20 minutes on average, and then the same thing, if you have lots of different files of customer service and other stuff, and, imagine 3 salespeople a day or 5 customer service people a day, and you want to listen to all of their calls throughout the day for, 6 hours a day. That's 18 hours a day between 3 customer service people you want to transcribe. That can get really expensive. So, the other solution that I used that was a download is Descript, which Matt knows about because that's what we use for our transcriptions. And I will save you from having to dig through everything by telling you which one, unless you want to cheat and go and actually look at the document of our reviews, but I will tell you which one was my favorite. I can tell you, the fact that I still use Transcript after doing this the last couple of weeks probably tells you that it's up there. But yeah, a lot of the services, whether it was an AI or human edited, there's lots of questions that would come up. It's how many speakers do you have? Do you have accents was one.
Interesting.
What is your budget? How long are your episodes? Because some of them, to try it or just in general, there were certain files that it would work better or not. Like if you have a 4-hour, one of them has I think it's otter.ai. If you're using the free one or even the paid one, it'll only do up to a 4-hour session. So, if you're Joe Rogan, it could kind of do most of your shows. I don't think many people are doing over a 4-hour anything, but think about all of the conferences now. They're all online. If you wanted to take your video and transcribe it into a document, if you do a webinar or a training and it's 2 or 3 hours, you could still do it.
Yeah.
But again, if you have a human do it at $20 to $30 for 20 minutes, you're talking $60, $90 an hour. So you're talking $300 to $400 to transcribe just one. What is your turnaround time? How often do you record? Do you want to be able to do any editing? Do you care if it's perfect? Honestly, I will tell you we do not. At least I don't. If you ever notice our names in our service, in the transcription service, it's always off, and I just leave it there because I find it funny.
Dave Roar.
It spells it ROAR every single time.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Just like a roar.
Yep. Your name, it's Matt. I think I shared that document with you. If you want to giggle, scroll about halfway down. where you'll see the transcription sample comparisons, and it goes through, and I broke out 4 different markers. I did the intro, the outro, because the intro in every single episode, it's recorded, it's pre-recorded by Matt, and we just apply that. So I was like, that is the most, Matt did it alone in one time. It's always the same. It's on the same on every show. So I thought that was an interesting one. Plus I knew it had both of our names on it. And that was really the only thing across them other than some weird punctuation. So one of them got my name, or a couple of them got it as Roar, R-O-A-R. A couple of them got it as Raw. Yours was Ciotola, C-I-O-T-O-L-A. Ciotola. One got it right, Siltala, S-I-L-T-A-L-A. One got it as Silva. And another one got it as Sicilla, S-I-L-S-I-L-A. Good. Oh yeah, Silt. Yeah, Silt. Good effort. Good effort there, Temmie.
The one that makes me laugh the most is the Ciotola.
Yeah, I was like, what?
But yeah, Dave Raw, R-A-W, Raw.
Yep. Yeah, the Sonics one was the worst as far as the names. But the one thing that I came out of doing all of the digging and looking at all of these things, like the next marker we talked about, it was SEO and API. Lots of the services got them wrong. So CMS, SEO, and API, those are all acronyms. Names and acronyms, most of the services get wrong. One of the things I looked at was the feature, and you can create your own word vocabulary. So for our last names, for PPC, for SEO, for CMS, and of course, as I put this one through the transcription service later, I'm probably going to double check it because that'll be funny as I just listed them all off. You can create that. So if you have your own jargon, your own words, your own names of, if you're a sports writer, if you have a podcast about sports, you have a podcast about legal things, and there's very specific terms that you always want to make sure that, especially for legal, that come up right, you can create your own vocabulary and use that, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
But some of them limit. Some of them, depending if you use the free $10, $20, enterprise, that size of the vocabulary will change. So again, back to how much are you going to transcribe? What is your budget? What matters to you? A lot of the scores that I gave for features, I talk about it, but it's a lot of what really matters and what doesn't. So ease of use is one of the things. It's how easy is it to set up? How fast is it? One of my problems I had with one really good service, Otter, was it was just slow.
And
it took forever.
And this kind of a thing becomes a big deal when you're doing all that you're doing, putting together an episode. So
so Otter was the slowest AI. If you use a human, it can be anywhere from 3 to 5 days is a rush. Some of them take 1 to 2 weeks. So the Otter AI in the I want it now world was slow. Like I had to wait, and it emailed me like 20 or 30 minutes later. Like, oh darn. When I use descript, it literally is done within a minute, maybe 2.
That's pretty insane how fast it is if you think about it.
Yeah. And most of the services were like that. They were very, very quick. For some reason, Otter just was like, hey, you want us to email you? To be fair, I was also using the free service. So if there's a queue and people using it, I would put me at the back too.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaker handling. One of the big things I saw, if you just have one person talking, doesn't matter. The speaker handling is not something you care about. But if you have a salesperson and a customer or a prospect, or a customer and customer service, if you have 2, 3, 4 people on your podcast, if you have 1 or 2 people on your video, or, then it matters. If you're just doing a single video interview and it's one person always, talking, that speaker handling doesn't matter, because some of the services honestly stink, is the nicest word I can say. when it comes to allowing you or making it easy for you to list who the speaker is. And if you look through the examples that I put in there, a lot of them won't even say, it'll just say speaker 1, speaker 2 is a nice thing, which is what the Microsoft does. A lot of them doesn't even say who it is. It just has some have a timestamp, some don't, was the other thing I noticed. Like Microsoft Word is great, but doesn't have a timestamp. But it has the speakers, so at least you know who's talking. But when I was comparing, trying to line up the same bit within, a 20-minute or 16-minute file, most of them I could go and find. It was like about the 8:45 mark. I could just go and find it and then copy and paste it and try to compare apples to apples. With Microsoft, I had to look for certain words because there is no timestamp. So again, depending on what you're going to use this for, my ratings, I tried to break it out, will be helpful. So I know, what time are we at? 16 minutes. We're at 16 minutes of rambling about transcriptions. So for those that are really lazy and don't want to look, the two services I would highly recommend the most would be Descript, which is what we use and it's a download, or Otter AI. Both have great speaker handling. Both were quick. Well, Otter wasn't quick, but both were pretty good. Both were easy to use. Otter AI was missing a couple features that I would have liked, but when the features is also export, you might want to look if you're doing closed caption. Some of these services that I really dinged on features is because they only will spit it out as a Word file or a text file. You can't get it as, there's was it Descript and Temi? No, not Temi. Who was it? Simon AI, Simon Says AI, and one other one had awesome list of here's 20 different ways we can export this for you. Which one do you want it? It's oh, sweet. Another great service, if you use Office 365, go to the online version. Go to your browser in Edge, open up Microsoft Word 365, and there's actually a button that if you load up a file or if you speak into it, it'll transcribe it for you for free.
Huh.
That was my third best. It does lack some features. There is no integration. It can't integrate with Zoom. Some of these services will integrate with Zoom. So if you have someone that wants notes from your meeting, boom, there you go. But you have to look at an Otter, or I think it was Simon Says AI, and maybe it was Sonics, that tie into your Zoom or your Zapier. So if you drop a file in, Dropbox, Zapier grabs it, throws it right into it, So there's a lot of different things. It just depends on what matters to you. After that was also Temi. I liked that service a lot. It was just lacking some features, but it also starts to get really kind of expensive. It's $5 for a 20-minute file. And then after that was Odd Text, Sonic AI. Amazon actually has a transcribe service. It's called Amazon Transcribe. Very original name. Happy Scribe, Simon Says AI, and Trint. They start to get about $3 to $5 per 20 minute, and they started to lack features, or they started to really stink at speaker handling or timing, something like that. And so I just rated them lower. So that is I'm going to guess, even without the sample comparisons, the 2,000, 3,000 word comparison write-up and everything. And that's the short version in 20 minutes. Right on the dot, almost 20 minutes. So yeah, think about what you want to pay. Think about how many speakers. Think about what features matter to you. And I think, there's all the links to all these services, so you should be good to go. But if anyone ever asks us, and I see it all the time, what transcription service should I use? This is where I'll be sending you.
There it is. Very good, guys. And so I appreciate you taking the time, diving.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, like Dave said, anything that we talked about and the full write up, the full information is going to be on the page. So, thank you guys for joining us. As always, a reminder, we are on iTunes, so please go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating if you like the content that we're bringing you and you want us to continue to bring this to you. That definitely helps. So, thanks everybody for joining us. For Dave Rohr with Northside Metrics, I'm Matt Siltala with Avalanche Media. And thank you guys. We'll talk to you on the next one.
I like how you enunciated your last name that time.
We're going to put these
He wants to test it.
test. Yes.
Thanks all.
Bye.